Hello everyone and welcome back to FinTech Festival India Mumbai Micro Experience. So our next session is an innovation talk on how to run your workloads efficiently and effectively. And giving us this presentation today is Mr. Manish Gurnani, Chief Technology Officer of KSolves India Limited. Over to you Manish, please go ahead and take the stage.
Thank you Amit. Good evening everyone. And it's really a privilege to be a part of this FinTech event. And thank you to FinTech team for inviting us to this event. I am Manish Gurnani. I'm CTO at KSolves India Limited. And I'll give a brief talk about how can we run our big data workloads efficiently and effectively. So here's a quick introduction about our company, KSolves India Limited. We are an NSE listed company, close to 375 plus engineers, architects, delivering world-class solutions. A quick intro about me, almost 2 decades of experience working with Fortune 5 companies, building solutions. And pretty much I basically am technology agnostic guy, worked on a lot of very technologies. Okay, so the agenda for today is, I'll start with the 5 V's of the big data. How do you define efficiency versus effectiveness? How do you make your big data loads more efficient? And how do you make them more effective? And finally, how do you use a framework to help you judge whether your big data project will be success or not? Okay, so the 5 V's of big data. Obviously, the first one is volume. The big data is coming in great volume. It's the data which is coming in great volume. It's coming across sensors, coming across devices. Next V is velocity, the speed of ingestion of that data into your workflow and processing of that data in your workflow. The third V is the variety. Variety implies the big data is coming in different formats. It could be structured, it could be semi-structured, it could be unstructured. For example, data coming from log files, data coming from CSVs, data coming from images, data coming from documents. The fourth V is veracity, which indicates what is the quality of the data that is coming in, whether that data is of any, whether that quality of the data that is coming in is good or not. And finally, the most important V is the value. If the data is of no value, there is no point of working on that data. Moving ahead. So how do we distinguish efficiency versus effectiveness in terms of big data workflows? So efficiency essentially means optimizing things or optimizing your workflows, doing the things in the right way, reducing your waste. Maybe it may be in terms of time, it could be in terms of money, it could be in terms of effort. And we will see in the next slides, efficiency is essentially going to be a technology function. It would be driven by your technology leaders, your technology team. If we go to effectiveness, effectiveness means doing the right thing. Whether the workflow that you are creating, is it creating value to your business? Okay, so let's deep dive into efficiency. How can you make sure that your big data workloads are running efficiently? There are a couple of aspects that we look into. The first aspect is infrastructure provisioning. So irrespective of whether you are running big data, it would be provisioned either on premise, whether that is within your own data warehouse, or it would be on cloud, or it could be a hybrid model. Now, each of these have their own pros and cons. If you're running on premise, that means you are the owner of the infrastructure also, and you have to maintain that infrastructure also besides your big data workflows. That itself brings a lot of challenges. On the other hand, if you are running your workloads on cloud, that means you basically have unlimited resources at your end, but you need to be sure that you are not misusing them. What happens is, when you are running it on premise, you have committed a capex already for setting up that infrastructure. It could be in terms of software, hardware, the compute, the VMs, the memory, whatever it is. You have already committed yourself to that capex. And you need to ensure that your big data workloads are able to utilize that efficiently. They are able to auto scale. They are able to ramp down when not needed. If you are running it on cloud, that part is taken care by the cloud provider for you. But yes, you run into other issue over there. For example, there could be a challenge that the data that you want to run your data analytics flow onto, it is confidential. It cannot be put on cloud. So your hands are tied. Can you look at a hybrid approach at that time? So, for example, part of that data will reside in your data warehouse and part of that data will be shifted to the cloud. Probably you could run a workflow which summarizes the results of that data to cloud. The next aspect for efficiency that we can look at is the tech stack. The tech stack based on which you will be defining your big data workload or data analytics. It could be open source. For example, you could build your workflows using native Spark, Apache Spark, or MapReduce or Hadoop, or you could use a cloud native solution for that. What do I mean by cloud native? For example, almost all the cloud providers, they already have a service which takes care of a data warehousing system. Example, AWS has Redshift. Azure has HD Insights. Google has its BigQuery. All these native features of the cloud, they already come pre-built with the solutions. So instead of writing your data workflows from scratch, you can use those services as it is. For example, for Redshift, you can have data ingestion via Glue or Athena. You can use Kinesis. The next aspect that we'll move on to is the processing time. What this implies is how fast can your data be ingested into your pipeline and how fast can it be processed to gather a meaningful insight. It could be real time, where you have a streaming data. It could be near real time or it could be batch. Each of these in turn require a different set of infrastructure, a different set of design, a different set of patterns or different set of services that you will be building. This also could be thought of having let's say a cold path versus a hot path in your pipeline. A hot path would indicate the data that has to be ingested in real time and has to be acted upon in real time. So you need to have a streaming, for example, a streaming flow for that. If it is not the other path could be a cold path. So if your data can be processed after a certain delay, you can build your pipeline which can optimize that part. So you could run your data batches. So you could run your data process in batches, for example, right? The next aspect that we'll look at is for efficiency is the process design, right? So for running your big data workflows, you have to provision a set of resources. All that resources include your compute, your let's say your networking, all the layers. All of that part, if that can be provisioned inside a code, infrastructure as code, you get the benefit of CI and CD, that is continuous integration, continuous deployment. So any change in your pipeline or in your configuration can be easily processed via predefined CI/CD pipelines, right? It will also help you in giving development resiliency to the system. The other part of process design that would come under this is workload patterns. So what do we mean by pattern? A pattern is, let's say, a base on which you can map your workflow or the data flow that you are trying to build. It's a predefined pattern which has already been implemented somewhere. It's like a reference architecture. If your data workflow can follow a predefined workload pattern, the benefit you get is you get a ground to start onto. You don't have to start it from scratch. It's like a predefined design pattern on which you design your workflow and tune it as per your requirement. Okay, so then moving on to effectiveness. Effectiveness in terms of big data would mean the most important result that is coming out of big data analytics is the value that you can drive from that data, right? If your data, if your data process or your analytics workflow cannot help you in driving value, there's no point of having that data workflow. This is the most important that I mentioned earlier. How can you ensure that your data analytics process is effective? The thing to be kept into mind is there is already an operational process which would be running in your business to drive its value. Can that operational process, existing operational process, integrate with your data analytics? Like I was saying, use your data analytics workflow to integrate it with your existing operational process and make it more integrated so that you can drive maximum value out of your existing operational process. How can we do that? So, you need to identify certain key questions which drive your value, which are important to be answered so that you can have maximum value from your data. These key questions need to be answered by your business stakeholders. Once you have identified those set of key questions, you can provision a discovery sandbox which they can play around with. So for example, it may not necessarily be a production replica, but something which is similar to a production database. And it allows these key stakeholders to basically run queries on that and identify whether the questions that they have, are they being answered using your current data analytics jobs. At the same time, it will also allow them to discover some new patterns, right? So with this, now you so now once you have this discovery sandbox also available, and you have an existing operational process for which is already there, and with the discovery sandbox, you are able to decipher or come up with new design patterns, the new insights. Can these to be merged to build a more intelligent system which can enhance the value of the overall operational process? That is the goal, that is what I mean by effectiveness over here. With all of this, there would be certain steps that would be repetitive. Can you automate those steps? If yes, then the cycle is complete, right? Okay. Then now, I mentioned that effectiveness is basically a business function. Why? Because all these key questions have to come from the key stakeholders. They have to come from the business holders. They have to come from marketing. They have to come from your financial head. They can drive these questions because they know what is needed for the business in terms of value. So these all things that you see, these are all being driven by the business leaders. Hence, effectiveness is essentially a business function. In case of efficiency, all the aspects that we saw, the process design, the processing time, the infrastructure decisions, they were primarily driven by technology people, the technology heads. So if efficiency is essentially a technology function, right? Okay. Now, for your business to be more effective, you have identified operational process, you have improved it, you have made it into a system, but what else can be done better? So, data to decision. How much time does it take for the data to be moved into your system, ingestion, cleaning, processing, so that it can be used for taking a decision by the management? The velocity of the data in the entire system. The smaller this part is, the smaller this time is, the more efficient or the more effective your big data process would be. And last, for effectiveness, the organization needs to have a data-driven culture. Now, it's very easy for, or it's let's say relatively easier for the new startups or the recent startups because they have imbibed this culture in the beginning itself. But it may be a challenge for the established firms. And in the last, I'd like to speak about one framework which can help you decide whether your big data project is going to be a success or not. This is coming from two very eminent professors, Carsten Pedersen and Thomas Ritter. They came up with this framework and they suggested that divide your data into 4 parts, or you look at 4 aspects for your big data project. The first one is, they said, is data. There has to be some data which is valuable and which is scarce, so that when you use that data and you have access to that data, so that you can have a competitive advantage. The second aspect that they said was, do you have autonomy to build on that data? So for example, do your employees have the freedom to work with that data? Can they engage with that data? And a perfect example of this autonomy is Google. Google gives its employees 20% of time to play around with whatever they want to. And that has in turn created an ideation culture over there, which in turn has led to creation of very, very good products from Google side. The third aspect for this success framework is technology. Is the current technology that is available, is it possible, is it feasible to build your big data solution using that current technology? And the last aspect that they said is accountability. Or whatever you are trying to achieve through your big data or your data analytics job, is it breaking the law in any case? Is it ethics compliant? Example of this could be Facebook's Cambridge Analytica. Now, they had a great process, but it was against the law. So based on these 4 items, what you need to do is you need to assign a 1 where you have that and 0 where you don't have that. For example, if you have data, you assign it a value of 1. If you have access to data, that means. And then you sum these scores. So based on that score, you can then decide whether your big data project is going to succeed or not. This is the score to implication mapping that they have suggested. So a 4 means there's a good chance that your big data project will be a success. Or a 1 means, that means probably it's better to close down that project. All right, that's pretty much I had. These are quick references that we have used. And then finally, if you want to contact us for KSolves, these are our numbers and our email ID and our website link. Thank you with that.
It's been a great presentation, of course.
5 मिनट में अकाउंट सेटअप और ट्रेडिंग शुरू।
हाँ कर सकते हैं।
नहीं कर सकते।
लगी शर्त और हारा तो It's possible with CoinSwitch Kuber. Download करो और Bitcoin trading start करो. CoinSwitch Kuber. सिक्का चमकेगा.
Cryptocurrency is an unregulated digital asset, not a legal tender and subject to market risks and price fluctuation risks.
Where there is life, there is hope, there is meaning. But life has its downs as much as its ups. Life is about challenges. Life is about opportunities. Time for joy, time for celebration, and time to introspect. Thankfully, in every one of life's moments, and even beyond life itself, there's LIC. Where there is life, there's always LIC. Zindagi ke saath bhi, zindagi ke baad bhi. Where there is life, there is hope, there is meaning. But life has its downs as much as its ups. Life is about challenges. Life is about opportunities. Time for joy, time for celebration, and time to introspect. Thankfully, in every one of life's moments, and even beyond life itself, there's LIC. Where there is life, there's always LIC. Zindagi ke saath bhi.
Welcome to Fago, a pioneer in the world of intelligent open finance. With our full stack open finance platform, we enable companies to understand their users' financial behavior across various use cases, making finance engaging and actionable. Fago's developer-friendly product stack helps clients with friction-free user onboarding and authentication using trusted account information. Connect and aggregate your users' banking transaction data from any source, either any of the account aggregators or directly from any core banking solution at flexible intervals. Enrich and categorize transaction data using machine learning algorithms to extract deep behavioral attributes of your users. Understand and act on real-time insights powered by your users' behavior for a variety of use cases ranging from lending, wealth, income verification, frauds, to even branding and marketing insights. Engage with your users by embedding our personal finance management SDK in your existing user-facing app to push positive financial habits and personalize financial insights to your users. If you are looking to engage or understand your user base's financial behavior to take informed decisions, Fago is your perfect partner. With a complete Fago suite, you can now capture what drives your users at every stage of their journey and use it to drive your growth. Plug into Fago and let us do the heavy lifting for you.